Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Pit Talk, pulling pits in the pins with your host, Gunny G, where service members help service centers. Period. Follow, like, subscribe everywhere you get your podcasts and on most social media platforms. Let us know how we're doing. Any criticism is good criticism. Let's get into it. We are short time this evening. We both had finally got our schedules in sync, but only for like 30 minutes max. We got a special guest by the name of Staff Sergeant William Butts. We'll get into the jokes later, but go ahead and introduce yourself, where you're from, professional bio, things like that, and duty stations, so on and so forth. And yeah, man, let the listeners know where you're from, where you're at, all that good stuff.
Name is Sergeant William Butts from Daytona Beach, Florida. Uh, Currently at Cherry Point MWSS 271, and I am the NCO Council President for my unit, as well as the UMCC for my unit as well.
Interesting. How is your second duty station, third duty station?
Third duty station.
Third duty
La-
station, huh?
Last one before I go on recruiting duty.
No, they're trying to get you. They did get you though, because you're gonna get slayed, dog.
Yeah.
Recruiting is a 365-day slave. But I'll tell you what, if you have strong work ethic, right, and you're good at talking to people and you do what you're supposed to do, you're on your own schedule. And that's amazing because you can come in whenever you want, go to work out, go see your wife for lunch if you're married, which you are. I think you are, right?
Almost July 11th, I get married.
So
Thank you.
yeah, so you'll go see your wife. Hey, you guys go for lunch. You go to lunch, then your little recruiting shirt, and you're still recruiting even at lunch. It's crazy. But yeah, man, it's a good. I hear it's a good time, but also it's a crazy slay, crazy amount of advance opportunities though. Advancements like meritorious promotions and junk.
Yes,
If
sir.
you do well, I'm sure that you'll get promoted pretty quickly. And then highly competitive promotion, man. What's your MOS?
531, the Great Motor T.
Yeah, dude, I love motors. I love mechanics too. They're like close to my heart. The mechanics, motor T guys, the what is it? The electronic guys, the ones that fix the radios, GMP or whatever they call it, GMP platoon, GEM platoon or something like that, whatever the frick. Yeah, I love those dudes. The freaking utilities guys, 1371s. I love those guys. Those are
Yes,
amazing.
sir.
Anyways, tell the listeners why you wanted to come on. Like, what's going on? What you reached out, we reached out, we got in sync. Like, hey, you're like, man, I just want to do a podcast.
Yeah, so I saw it, I saw some great guests. For example, Major Barnum. I'm actually a part of her mentor program.
Really?
I reached out. I got some original matches. Reached out to one of them. I don't know really what happened, but I'm re-engaging again. I'm looking forward to it because I think going on year 9 now. I'm just really trying to get into that mentorship, either be a mentor or be a mentee, either or. Appreciative for either or, especially now that I'm in zone for staff this year. So I'm really excited. I'm just really trying to branch out and develop my leadership as well as my marine skills.
Nice, dude. So that's awesome. I haven't met anybody that's actually doing the program or participating in the program. Tell me about it. I know you said it's kind of, whatever happened, but so far so good. Are you trying to get back into it? What's going on?
I want to say trying to get back into it. I did get matched with like 3 people. Reached out to one. I don't know if I never saw it or whatever the case may be, but it's a really good program. I've seen a lot of good stuff. I see a lot of good stuff, and it seems really legit. And I'm really looking forward to it because I see a lot of people on my Instagram that I follow. They are products of it, and then I'm just a big believer in mentorship myself.
Interesting. Why are you such a big believer in mentorship?
Because like it got me out of a how can I say it? It got me out of a I don't want to say a hole, but like a can't think of the word right now. It got me out of a rut because once I reached out and actually tried to get a mentor, not necessarily in Motor T, but just like a leader in general, it kind of really restored my faith in the Marine Corps. Because in my last duty station in Quantico, kind of went through some stuff. Nothing too bad, just challenging leadership for lack of a better term. And I reached out to a mentor and then they kind of, like I said earlier, just restored my faith in it. I re-enlisted, I promoted. It flipped. My whole Marine Corps career just really flipped and took a turn for the better. Just because, just reaching out, somebody just willing to give the time. Because I'm always willing to listen. I'm always willing to try stuff a different way. So after that, it's always been a big thing. And that's why I wanted to become the president of my NCO council because I'm really big on trying to mentorship NCOs. I love being a sergeant, but corporal was my favorite rank only because like it was my introductory into like being an NCO and being hailing from an infantry unit as my first unit. I hold NCO in high regards. I want to be a staff. I would love to be a staff, but I really hold NCO in high regards because I'm a big believer in NCO as being a backbone of the Marine Corps.
Right, I like that. I like that. Okay. Take it easy. You can get all motivated on me and John can start grunting all over the place. I'll tell you what, I'm a gunny. I haven't been that I'm still fresh in the Marine Corps, right? But the two best ranks so far that I've experienced are sergeant and gunnery sergeant. Best ranks in the Marine Corps. Just like and I can't say anything else, but gunnies and sergeants, the best rank in the enlisted rank structure. Nobody messes with the sergeant because that's just the backbone. That's the enforcer, the bulldog, right? And then the gunny is like he knows it all, and you can't mess with the guy that knows it all. You know what I mean? So it's just best ranks in the Marine Corps so far. So you're doing well, man. I'll tell you what how did the challenging leadership and how did that mentorship, the intangibles, how did that make you successful, so to speak? What did they do? What did they provide that you rebounded and you said, "Hey, I'm out of this pickle. I want to reenlist again."
They provided alternative ways of thinking. And because if one way's not working, let's try another way. And then they provided criticism. I'm a big believer in constructive criticism because that's a skill, I believe, because a lot of people can't take it. And for me, what it taught me was just the fact that, sometimes I'm the problem. And, sometimes I'm not doing things right or I'm not communicating right, which is another skill they taught me intertwined with all of that is communication. Because before just being somebody from Florida, I was very like to the point. But sometimes people don't take to the point. They take like, creativeness for lack of a better word. And they really taught me how to kind of communicate better with like the field grade officers or the staff NCOs that are kind of like the my way, the highway type of people. And then it
Uh,
taught me, for example, like sometimes, you gotta manipulate. I hate the word manipulate, but I feel like that's what best fits because sometimes you gotta make people think or communicate to make people think that your idea is their idea. So at the end of the day, you still get what you need done, but
yeah.
you're kind of feeding into them too.
Interesting. So what did you had some insight, you had some so a different approach. What were they doing that was hindering that? The challenge in leadership.
They were kind of trying to leadership stifling. I would say that leadership stifling because I would try to, within my lane, my left and rights, little range talk, but my left and rights trying to be an NCO and they wouldn't let me do it. Or I will hold a billet that is like say for a staff NCO and they would try to kind of not let me act within those lateral limits. Like I've always had the respect and knowledge of like who I'm talking to and what I'm doing, but they just would try to take the credit for everything and then try to keep me like late for work. And then that unfortunately caused me to have a divorce. But through that, I just kind of I kind of reignited my relationship with God. I think that's a big part of how I got through what I got through is just finding that, and then through just going back to church, I actually met my current fiance just through faith and funny story, actually through a dating app 3 years ago.
Interesting.
Yeah, and just with going through that challenge in leadership, it taught me how to deal with people. Because being a young corporal coming from an infantry unit and going to Quantico to where it's not like an infantry unit, it's very political and proper and everything like that. It taught me to really how to converse with different types of leadership and then get creative with problem solving because it was either I leave or he leaves or you know who knows. But thankfully with mentorship, God, and at the time my girlfriend, my bad, Gunny. It was my buddy who's the higher duty. He sounded like somebody else little always, but through through that I found a way to kind of just get creative with my problem solving.
Interesting. I'll tell you what, I know you're a busy man. Let's get straight to the meat potato. So he hit you hard with a divorce. Can you tell me some after actions? Like what happened that you were directly responsible for?
I let work come home. That was the biggest lesson that I learned because I took the stress, I took I have to do this, I have to do this, and I took it home. And regular civilians are really trained to handle that. And I didn't go to counseling. I didn't go to counseling till it was already too late and we were already separated. So when I got into my new relationship, that was like one of the first things we did. We used the military one source. Big shout out to TRICARE, and found a therapist that really helped us out, and somebody that could explain like what I go through and help me better explain what I go through on my daily jobs or responsibilities. I'm taking a call at 2 o'clock in the morning. It's not that I'm doing something wrong. It's more it's like either Marine needs something or, I'm in trouble or they're in trouble. But yeah, it was just one of those things where I learned to not let sacrifice my work for my home life. And that work will always be there. And that's something I'm working on, and I pass it on to my Marines as well because as much as we all want to be hard chargers, the work is always gonna be there. But home life might not always be there. So that was a lesson I had to learn.
Interesting. That's a good lesson to learn young. Unfortunately, it took a divorce for you, man.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear that. It's all good. I mean, it looks like you're definitely matured from it. You learned your lessons, and now you're going to apply that to the hopefully the new successful marriage that you have. So recruiting, are you nervous? You excited? What's up?
I'm respectfully nervous. I'm nervous because I care and I respect the grind that it's going to be, but I'm also confident because I believe in God and my fiance has probably been my best support system that I've ever had. I know it's going to be hard. I actually, since I volunteered, because funny story, I was assisted 4 years in a row and I got out of each and every single one of them. And then I volunteered and got the bonus. Well, I will be getting the bonus once I graduate. So I volunteered and picked the spot that my fiance wanted to go to. I didn't want to go home because I just didn't want to be around people I already knew. I wanted to, you know, since we're planning to have kids, I wanted to be close to where she wanted to go, which was back up in Pittsburgh or Pennsylvania. But hopefully somewhere I'll get somewhere close to Pittsburgh. So when we have kids, we'll be close to her parents and we have a good family care plan. I said since she stuck it out with me here and down in North Carolina, I'll return that favor and try to get close to her family, so she won't get homesick. Cause leave it up to me, I would have went back to Cali.
That's true. That's easy pickings. I'll tell you what, man. It sounds like you got a good plan. You got a good thing going right now with a significant other. You got a good head on your shoulders. I mean, tell the listeners that you're a young man. How old are you? 23, 24?
Oh, guys, don't you treat me kind of nice, but I'm actually turning 31 in April.
Well, I'll tell
Yeah,
you what. You're setting me up for some jokes. I'll tell you what. Black don't crack, dog. You look great for freaking 31.
appreciate it, appreciate it. My hairline not too much, but I appreciate it.
It's a good thing you put the cover back on. You know what I'm saying? You'll be all right. You'll be all right. Okay, 31. All right. So you're definitely matured from the first divorce. You got the right head on, and you got the forward thinking. You got Jesus under behind you. There's nothing that you really can't do, and nothing that's within God's impossible possible magic, or so to speak. You're gonna make this a career, obviously. Yes.
Yeah, cause like I said, I'm about to hit year 9 and then going on the SDA, so I'll be over 10, so I might as well at that point.
Might as well, and you're gonna get promoted. So it's like it is what it is. Like you got the carrots big, the promotion's big, the money's big. Why not? It's been taking care of you thus far. Organization is good in itself. It's the people that kind of make it taint it, right? It's the people that make it
But
bad.
yeah,
So I tell you what, the next duty station, you'll be successful. The next after that, do you ever think about going officer?
thought about it, but Imma be honest with you guys, like, I'm not a runner. I run enough to maintain a high PFT, CFT, but I don't do anything outside of that. Like, I do what I need to and just keep it at that. But I appreciate what officers do. I respect them a lot. They've taught me a lot. Yeah, that OCS is not for me. And then being a PMI and wearing my campaign cover over there, I see what they went through, and I'm like, yeah, that's not really a question I need answered.
We'll grind it out with the enlisted, where the deck plates meet the GP. That's dope. I appreciate that because flat black, baby.
But yeah,
I'm all about it. Grind it out until 20. Hey, I got a question for you. So you had adversity, you had resilience. I know you experienced some stuff, man. You were in a rut for sure. That you
hmm
definitely almost you almost got out for it. What exactly did you go through? What was it that really affected you? Obviously, divorce affects you all kinds of ways, man. You're kind of all wired, all hot and bothered, emotionally wired. What exactly though? What were the emotions like during that time, and where did you find yourself mentally?
My emotions was probably it was a lot of things. Depressed, nervous, because like throughout the divorce and all that stuff, I got promoted. But being a fresh sergeant, I didn't really know too much about fit reps. I didn't know like the difference between like talking to my RS versus talking to an officer. Granted, they're the same thing, but kind of different in the same respect. And then outside of that, like I moved out of my. It's funny. I was in this section with my staff NCO. His name will remain nameless, but it's on site if I ever see him. Yeah, I was in this section with him. I moved out, and then Gunny, I kid you not, a week later, he actually moved into the new section I was with too, and I was just like, there's no way. So it's just like I got real claustrophobic. Just going through the divorce, going through not being able to escape that one obstacle in my career. It was tough, and then just it led me to a depression, and then I didn't really turn around until I met my fiance. Not too long after that, staff and CO left, and then that's when it kind of got better. But the adversity was just really just like feeling like I couldn't do anything to help myself, and that I was always fighting for myself, and it just made it seem like it was just hopeless. Like sucks, but he put my divorce, me going through my divorce and dealing with that, he put that in my JPads and lowered my JPad scores. So I ended up having to wait another 6 months to get promoted. That is what really put me in a hard spot. I was ready to get out. I was depressed. I caught COVID in the middle of all that. It was pretty bad. But there was just you know through talking with God and praying, healing to heal and find somebody. Found my current fiance, which she's my support system, and I kind of got out of that because after I found her was when things started turning around. Like he left, then I got promoted, and then I got introduced to her family, and then it was a whole different aspect of life that I really didn't get a chance to see until after that. And I'm thankful. I'm thankful for the snowstorm because I was in Quantico when that whole blizzard in 21 happened, and that's what caused it all. But yeah, after that, it's just, it was up from there. I started learning, really getting that mentorship. I got orders to Cherry Point. Cherry Point is definitely not Pendleton, but it's not a bad base, that's for sure. And it's just been up from there.
That's good, man. I tell you what, there's a saying that adversity introduced himself to a man.
Oh yeah.
And adversity showed yourself, and you could either be down in the pits, pulling pits, staying pulling pits all day, and just
Oh
be
yeah.
bummy because pulling pits sucks.
Yeah.
Or you could go to the top and start shooting again. And it looks like you're starting to shoot the rounds down range, fire rounds down range. I appreciate that. What can you provide out of all that? Out of all that adversity, you were resilient for sure. There's going to be another young man that experienced the same thing. Give him a tool for the toolbox. I know our time's limited because we got some things to do,
Hmm.
but give them a tool for the toolbox. Hey, I know you're going to go through this. I know this is what it's about, but tell them what works for you. Tangible, something tangible that they can grab and put in their pocket.
Tangible, I would say, really just don't be afraid to reach out and lean on your friends and family. I know as Marines, you try to think like, oh, we can do everything and handle everything on our own, but we can't. And it's just important to really seek out those friends that you have or family members or significant other and just, lean on them. Let them support you because as much of a pillar that we like to think we are, pillars have their weak points too. And when you get there, it's important to like, rebuild and come back stronger. However you rebuild, whether it's, through scripture, through prayer, or through friends and family, just make sure you seek them out and lean on them. Uh, outside of, praying and leaning on God, like, family is one of the most important, you know, I don't want to repeat myself, but one of the most important pillars you can have to kind of get through tough things like that.
Connections. That's good, man. That's good. I'll tell you what, if you're just tuning into it, you got Staff or Sergeant Butts, future Staff Sergeant, right? Sergeant Butts,
Mhm.
lean, fellowship, connection. That's the biggest thing that you can do. You can't do this chess game of life by yourself. You have to have a small core group of people that you trust, and whoever that is, don't let everybody in, man, because not everybody's your friend, right?
yeah.
not everybody you can trust, but the core group that you have in your inner circle of trust, that's truly where it's going to be. And you don't have any, but you probably should get some because it's going to suck and it's going to be a rough ride. So that's good gouge,
Yeah.
man. I appreciate that, Sergeant Butts. As an NCO, as the backbone, that's good information to have because right now we struggle with young, impressionable individuals. They see and monkey do. And
Oh
for you
yeah.
to tell them, hey, lean into faith, lean into religion, lean into your circle of trust, and that's gonna just get you through the rough patches in your life. And that's what happened, right? You leaned into your mentorship, you leaned into the person to say you might trusted, you lean into God, and He met every expectation, and He provided people in the way on the way to where you're at now, and so you can be successful. I'll tell you what, not every believer was rich. Not every believer had everything they had. You had to stay in the same situation before you got out of it. You know what I'm saying? So that's good. That's good gouge, ladies and gentlemen. We're short on time. We got to do round two sometime next week. We got to find some time to do round two. I know you got some things to do. I got some things to do. Sorry, Buzz, I appreciate your time. I appreciate your honesty about the divorce and where you were at. That's crazy because no listener, sometimes they don't want to share, but you're definitely a different person. You're full of joy. You matured from the situation. So if people want to get a hold of you,
If people want to, my bad, it's the Wi-Fi went out. But if you can want to get a hold of me, I'm on Facebook. I'm on X. Will W the letter X then 386, and then on Instagram, I'm just W Butts 386. You can get a hold of me on those platforms.
absolutely. Hey, thanks, dog. I appreciate you being the backbone. I appreciate you providing a good example for the ones you lead. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Pit Talk, pulling pits and opinions with your host, Gunny G, where service members help service members, period. Follow, like, subscribe everywhere you get your podcasts and on most social media platforms. Not every single one because my bandwidth is kind of small. But let us know how we're doing. Any criticism is good criticism, ladies and gentlemen. Me and Sergeant Butts, we out. Dog, we got
Have
to
a
do
good one.
round two, okay?
I'm down for it. Just let me know.
All right, dog. All right, laters.
Later.
Stand by, contact. Ceasefire. Stand by, contact. Ceasefire.
Pit Talk is a podcast featuring active service members who discuss their thoughts and opinions on various issues surrounding military life, current events, and history. The statements heard here are the opinions of its members and guests. These do not necessarily reflect the views of the Department of Defense and are not endorsed or sponsored in any way. Listener, viewer discretion advised.